Hey folks, it's time for the quote of the day. And if you're born on January 12th, I'm going to apologize right up front. The way that I'm about to paint today and the birthdays from today, it's going to make it seem like you're just an awful person. And I don't mean that. There are some good people that were born on January 12th. I'm just not going to name any of them. Today, there's at least five people that would make it on some people's like top 10, top 20 douchebags of all time list. And I just thought that was strange. You don't usually see that kind of conglomeration around one date, but January 12th seems to be a day where there are some awful fucking people born, and I just thought I'd bring light to it. Now I'm going to give you a list of some names here of people that I'm not going to be quoting, but I think that it's important to back up my claim here so that you understand what I'm talking about. I am going to quote probably the worst of them all, but I'll be doing it with a purpose, and there is method to my madness here. Today is the birthday of one P.W. Botha. We won't be quoting him, and if you're not sure who Botha is, he was the last prime minister of South Africa uh, during the apartheid era, and he was a real shitheel. I mean, he was a horrible man, and hated Nelson Mandela. Used to say Nelson Mandela would never because he was in prison at the time would never see the light of day. The only way Mandela was getting out of a cell was either through his own death or through both his death, and that he believed that. Now, that didn't end up coming to pass that way, but you get the point. He was a pile of shit. It's also Rush Limbaugh's birthday, and we all know that Rush Limbaugh was a cankerous sore on the ass of humanity, and one of the reasons why we live in the world we live in today. And no, I don't really care that he's dead, and I'm not going to speak kindly of him just because he is. Um, I fucking hated him. I fucking hated Rush Limbaugh on a level that may be unhealthy. I need to look. I need to take some time and look at it. Um, but today's his birthday as well, and somewhere in along those lines, I think probably in the middle of the people that I'm about to quote and the people I've already named is Jeff Bezos. We know he's a pile of shit. We know that he's a horrible man. We know that he is, like Lex Luthor. He's basically Lex Luthor. That's what he is, and we know that. So I think that he makes it on the shit sipper list that I compiled here. We also have, and like I said, Bezos is probably near there. Um, Alfred Rosenberg was born today. If you're not sure who Rosenberg was a Nazi, and he was instrumental policy maker for the Nazi Party. Uh, he kind of legitimized them because he made what seemed to be policy and platform decisions, not really decisions, but he would frame their stances as if they were policy or platform decisions, and he was pretty good at it, and people believed it, and he kind of gave them legitimacy, especially in the early years. That did lead to the Nazis that we know, historically now. Now that being said, the man that I'm quoting today is also a Nazi. Funny enough, born on the exact same day as the other pile of shit. Now, there are a lot of Nazi names that can be thrown out that people know. Himmler and Hess and Goebbels. These are the top names under Hitler, but among them all, one name that should always be remembered is Hermann Goring. Today we're going to be quoting Hermann Goring. Now, if I wanted to pay any sort of tribute to him, I would say his name correctly, but I'm not going to do that. Fuck him. He's a Nazi. His name's Hermann Goring, as far as I'm concerned, and I'll hear nothing of the difference. Uh, I'm not trying to quote him to like lift up his message. I'm not trying to quote him to make it seem as if I agree with anything he ever said. I don't, and I'm not. I'm quoting him because I think that some of the things that he said are important to understand in reference to what's happening today. Now, one thing that you need to know about Goering is that he wasn't a true believer. Now, what I mean by that is he wasn't somebody who, like Hitler and like Hess, believed, and Goebbels as well, believed that Jewish people should all be eradicated. He didn't think that. He didn't really care about them. He wasn't trying to stop it. He just didn't care that they existed. When the I guess you could say the Nazi stuffs really started, the anti-Semitism really started. He was under the assumption that they were just going to removing and murdering basically the business leaders and the political leaders. He didn't think that they were going to be going after women and children. It wasn't until they had started that practice, and he basically was like, "That sucks, for them. But do they have stuff that we can steal while we're killing them?" And that genuinely, that was his way of thinking. He didn't care about all, he wasn't like standing up for the people. He was just, I mean, he was a pile of shit, right? Like I'm not quoting him because I think that he's a voice to lift up in history. I'm quoting him because it's important that we understand that the ways that he thought aren't that different from the ways that certain other people in this current regime think. I'm going to give you an example of that. I'm actually going to give you two quotes now that I'm thinking about it. I'm going to give you two quotes. The first one is Goring once said, and I've actually used this quote before, education is dangerous. Every educated person is a future enemy. He understood, and Hitler understood, that the dumber the people that you were trying to lead, the easier they were to lead. He understood that low intelligence meant that you didn't care about what was happening a lot of times. It meant that you had limited capacity. You didn't really function while thinking about what was happening in the country or in the world. You could be a single issue kind of person. We see that all over America today. People that are single issue voters, people that are single issue this, single issue that. They don't have the ability to actually focus on multiple things at once. They're not educated. They're not intelligent. They see no reason to be intelligent or educated. It doesn't matter to them that they're not, and they're very proud of the fact that they're not. They are exactly what Goering wanted. And anybody like people like me or like you, if you're watching this video, I promise you that you would be the target of somebody like Goering, who would see you as an enemy, who would see you as somebody who was trying to make a difference and make things better, because he understood that you were educated. He understood that you actually wanted to make the world a better place. You actually wanted to find ways and methods and leaders and so on and so forth to pull you out of the muck and the mire. Everybody else just wants to point at somebody and say, "Oh, it's their fault." That's a stupid response. That's how stupid people work. And those are the people that Goering, Hitler, and all the others took advantage of. They wanted you to be dumb. They needed you to be dumb. They needed you to just fall in line. And you see that all around you, everywhere you go. Now, this next quote that I wanted to give you is not a direct quote. It is an attributed quote through a book. Now, I don't remember offhand the man that wrote the book, but it was a book that was obviously about Nazis and Hitler, and Nazi Germany and Hitler. And it was this is an attributed quote to both Goering and a few other people in history. We're going to use it for Goering because I think that it's important that we understand that for everybody that I could find, everybody that I've ever heard says that this is in line with something that he said. He just may not have said it this way. So while it may not be a direct quote and it may be misattributed, it is something that he would say. And when I give you the quote, I want you to think about what you know about recent events. And then I want you to think about Kristi Noem. Because Kristi Noem is much like Goering. She really is. Goering once said, "Shoot first and inquire afterwards. And if you make mistakes, I will protect you." He was saying that to the Prussian police. The Prussian police were the kind of forebears to the Gestapo. They weren't quite there yet. They hadn't quite decided on that yet. But that's what they were. And he was saying that basically giving them exactly what you see in ICE today, giving them the power to just do and not think, to just act and not actually feel or care. And I'm not saying that they're necessarily the same thing, but I'm certainly not saying that they're not the same thing. I do not want to wish happy birthday to any of those fucking people. So I'll just say happy birthday to the author, Jack London. Everybody else, take care of yourself. Take care of others. I'll talk to you soon.